Hi, my name is Latoya, and today we will review how to create a loop in onboarding. There are two types of loops you can have in your onboarding process. Dynamic condition evaluation, or what I will call a manual loop. Both will net the same result. The main difference is with DCE, the system will automatically reevaluate the condition every 15 minutes. With the manual loop, the condition evaluation only happens once daily, and that's at midnight Eastern. DCE can be utilized with most candidate fields, whether they are standard or user-defined, as well as submission user-defined fields. There are some standard fields that do not work with DCE, such as your employee ID standard field, which is where a manual loop can be helpful. So if we're reviewing the diagram I have on my screen, first we'll talk about manual looping in onboarding. So the use case here is I am waiting on my employee ID in order for my manager to complete the IT provisioning form. So in my organization, in order for us to order equipment or begin IT provisioning, we have to have the employee ID for the new hire. So what we're going to do here is we've created an employee ID router, which will be the start of our condition set. With this router, we're going to set the execute step to when one of the previous steps is completed. That way, if we do have to loop, the system can continue with the loop and it doesn't get stuck. From there, we will have two transitions. We'll transition to our IT provisioning form if the employee ID is not null, meaning that the employee ID has been populated, or we will transition to our employee ID null router if the employee ID is null. We also have another transition that routes from the employee ID null router that goes back to the EEID router, and that is going to have a condition called a 24-hour delay. So the reason why we have to set this 24-hour delay condition is if we didn't have that there, what would happen is the system would continuously run this loop, which will eventually cause your process to break because the onboarding process doesn't get a break to reevaluate the conditions. It will continuously run, and then that will cause your process to fail. So we put this 24-hour delay to give the system an opportunity to reset and reevaluate the condition the next day. We also have set our EEID null router to say when one of the previous steps is completed. Again, that will give us the opportunity to complete that loop. So I'm going to go into my system and walk you through creating the manual loop process. So we're going to create our first step. We're going to create our router. And I'm just going to create a start loop router. So this is going to kick off all of our transitions. I'm going to go back to my step list. I'm going to create our EEID router, just like we have on our diagram. I'm going to set my execute step to when one of the previous steps has been completed. If I was to set it to when all of the previous steps have been completed, then the system is going to say, okay, the first time we went through this, that was the only step there, it was completed, we're done with this step, and it would not allow us to loop back to that step. If I was to set my execute step to when one and only one of the previous steps, that means that the initial time that this step is executed, I would no longer have the ability to execute this step again, and my process would stall if that employee ID had not been updated in the system yet. So we have to pick when one of the previous steps has been completed so that the system will allow us to hit this this EEID step multiple times if required. Select Finish. I'm next going to go back to my step list. I'm going to create my next step, another router for EEID is null, meaning that my employee ID has not been updated yet. I'm going to set this step as well to when one of the previous steps has been completed. Select Finish. I'm going to go back to my step list, and I'm going to create my final step, and that is a task for my IT provisioning form. Okay. And continue. Just like you do with any other step, we're going to set our duration, how long we want to give the individual to complete the form, assign it to my manager, and select finish. I'm going to go back to my step list. So just like we have here in our diagram, we've created all of our steps. We have our start, we have our EEID router, our IT provisioning form, and then we also have our EEID is null router. So next what we're going to do is we're going to create our transitions. So I'm going to start with my start router, and I'm going to transition that to my EEID. I don't need to do any conditions here. I'm just kicking off my process, my looping process. I'm going to go back to my step list. Next, I'm going to go to my EEID step, and I'm going to create two transitions, just like you can see here on my diagram. My first transition is going to be to my IT provisioning form with a condition that if the employee ID is not null, meaning it has been populated, we can move forward with that step. My second transition is going to go to my EEID null router, which is going to look at if the employee ID is null or it hasn't been updated yet. We're going to go to this router. So I'm going to create a transition. I'm going to transition to my IT provisioning form. I want all of my conditions to be valid, and we're going to create a condition called EEID is not null. EEID is under my personal information list of fields. Here's employee ID. And for my operator, I'm going to set it to is not null, meaning it has been populated. I'm going to go back to my employee ID step, and I'm going to create my second transition, which is going to go to my EEID is null step. Again, all conditions are valid. And this time we're going to create a condition to say the EEID is null. Again, I'm going to look at my personal information list of fields, my employee ID field, and for my operator, I'm going to say is null. Okay. I'm going to go back to my list of steps. And so just like we have in our diagram, we've transitioned to the IT provisioning form. We've transitioned to the EEID null router. Now we need to create our connection to actually create our loop. So if the employee ID hasn't been updated, we want the system to perform that check at midnight and then go back to my EEID router and reevaluate the conditions again. So here, I'm going to create my transition from my EEID null router to my EEID router with our condition for that 24-hour delay. So I'm going to go to my EEID is null router, transition that to my EEID router, and we're going to create that 24-hour delay. Again, the reason why we create that 24-hour delay is to give the system enough time to reset so it can reevaluate those conditions. If we don't create that router, what will happen is the system will continuously loop, which would then break your onboarding process. I'm going to call this condition 24-hour delay. Under current process, I'm going to pull the last previous step end date. As with any date condition, you always use the operator of is less than or equal to, and I'm going to set it to 1. Now, if I was to, in my process, get to this step and it was 10:30 at night, since I'm before that 12 midnight curfew, we'll call it, then the system would evaluate it in an hour and a half. That's when we hit midnight from 10:30. If I got to this step at 8 a.m., then that means the system would not reevaluate that condition again until midnight that night to see if that employee ID has been loaded. And that's whether you're updating the employee ID manually or through some type of import integration. I'm going to go back to my step list. And once I do my preview, I can see here we have our starting loop, we have our EEID. The system will evaluate, okay, is the employee ID null or is it not null, and take the appropriate steps. And you can see here the arrow is going back to EEID after that 24-hour delay, and it will reevaluate this condition. It will continue to do that until we have the positive evaluation of the condition, meaning that the employee ID is no longer null, and then it will send out that IT provisioning form for the manager to complete. And either for here, our process ends, but in your process, you can continue on after this loop. Next, I want to talk to you about dynamic condition evaluation. So here I have a diagram explaining that. So we have our starting router. We're going to go step one. Let's say our use case for this instance is that we want to see if this individual has ever worked for the organization before. So step one, we're going to have some type of form that we have them fill out. Then we have a process that runs behind the scenes that's looking at some data to confirm whether or not they are a rehire or not, whether that's a manual process or a integration process that runs. In the meantime, the system is going to be evaluating in order to move to this transition for this router. So if the UDF or the standard field that we're utilizing for this condition is not null, meaning that it's empty, then the system will hold here until it reevaluates that condition. Once that field has been updated with the appropriate results, then the process will continue. For this demonstration, if the field equals A, we're going to have it send out a notification to the manager saying this person has worked with us before. We're going to rehire them, and whatever else you want to put in that notification. If the field equals B, maybe we send out a notification to the manager and the new hire saying, hey, you're cleared to go. We can't wait to see you on your first day. We have your start date at this date. Let us know if you have any questions, and we continue our process. So the main thing to know here is with the dynamic condition evaluation, instead of what we saw previously with the loop, the system will just hold here, and every 15 minutes, it will look at whatever field is the basis of your condition and evaluate if that condition has been met. If that condition or that field is no longer null, then the system will continue on. If that field is still empty, then the next 15 minutes will pass and the system will automatically reevaluate again. In order to invoke the dynamic condition evaluation, there is a setting that you have to ensure that you have turned on. So we're going to go to page 2, and we're going to look at this proactive update of waiting conditions. We would select that setting. This is a public setting, so it is one that you have the ability, as long as you have the appropriate permissions, to update. We're going to edit it. And we're going to set this value to yes. And what that does is it's activating DCE. So it's saying, okay, in this process, we want to utilize this setting. So now I can go and build my process. So when I go into my process, just like we have in our diagram, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to have 2 steps. We have our router, and then we have our initial step that's going to connect to our router. So I am going to build step 1, which will be our personal information form. So I'm just going to create a task for my personal information form. I'm going to give my new hire 3 days to complete it. Assign it to the new hire. and accept my default. I'm going to go back to my step list before I create my transitions. I'm going to create a router, and I'm just going to call it DCE router for sake of this demonstration. Select finish. I'm going to hold on my transition. Next up, I'm just going to create 2 additional steps. All right. Just going to pick 2 tasks here for demonstration purposes. So we're going to say, okay, if they're not a rehire, we're going to send them to hiring manager email. I'm going to assign this to the manager. All right. We're going to go back to our step list. Then we'll have our second step, and we'll have that be hiring manager and new hire email. So if the person has worked here before, we're only going to send the notification to the manager. But if the person has not worked here before, then we'll send it to both the manager and the new hire. We'll have a different notification go to them. So now that I have all of my steps created, if we go back to our diagram here, we want to create our transition from that first step, which in our case is our personal information form, to our router. So I'm going to go back in the system, going to go to this personal information form, and I'm going to transition to our DCE router. Now this is where we're going to set our condition that will be checked every 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to create my condition. I'm going to say field is no longer null. I'm going to look and see if I have. So I'm going to use this submission field. So I have a submission field that I'm leveraging in this condition. I'm going to say is not null. So I'm going to turn my operator to say is not null. So at this point, I'm not trying to tell the system where to go based on what the value of the field is. I'm just letting the system know that once this field is no longer null, then we're ready to move forward so that we can evaluate that condition. So that's the main difference with dynamic condition evaluation. Whereas with our loop we created through the manual process, you had to dictate both conditions and you had to create that 24-hour delay router and condition. With the dynamic condition evaluation, you don't have to do that. All you have to do is, number one, activate your setting under administration settings for the proactive weighting of conditions. And then number two is when you create that transition from your initial step to your second step where that evaluation is going to take place, you just set your condition to say, once this particular field, whatever field you want to use in your evaluation, is no longer null, continue on in our process. Now, the system again will evaluate this condition every 15 minutes. And once it sees that that value is no longer null, then it will continue on in the process based on the flow that you have developed. Thank you.